I'm just a floating head.
Yeah, we're just floating heads. It's even worse
Yeah,
now. I'm wearing turtlenecks for
amazing.
the season, so I'm really gonna
Mhm.
look like a floating head. Okay, recording has started.
Woohoo!
Okay, let's see if I remember my intro. Welcome to Echoes and Embers after the tavern closes. I'm Remy Squeaks, and this week I am here with the lovely, the fabulous, the gorgeous, though I wish she would have chosen me in college, Malapropery, also known as Mal, also known as her actual name, Tori, really not really, also known as
This
Fish,
is true.
also known as the other half of Jargon.
Oh my god, did I bring it? Yes, I brought it.
You brought it? Brought what?
I brought the hat.
Oh, oh my gosh. So, for context, we all got hats during our last
Yes,
campaign for our characters, and
that's for
hers
the
says
camera.
that's my husband for Jargon because Tilly, who was Mal's character, did marry our big bad evil.
I did. I tried to fix him.
You did try to fix him. But before we get into that, I have to ask, because I ask everyone at the beginning, who are you to me?
I am your crazy, crazy best friend.
Yes, you
And we
are.
met in college. I am the
Yes.
other best friend. Gabby gets to claim you too. We have
Yes.
equal ownership. But I have the distinction of being the free gift with purchase.
I did just insta adopt you from the moment that we did meet. So, yeah.
Yes. I believe there was some like jumping on me involved.
It was like
Yeah.
almost a full attack. That's what happens when you're standing in line for
Mhm.
sorority rush and somebody in front of you is singing Phantom of the Opera, which is your biggest tiz out, and you
It
have
is.
to become their best friend. And then, on I think the day before we both signed for our sorority, I think I did tell you we had to be best friends forever, and I think you had known me for a total of 5 days and probably thought she's a crazy person.
But it was kismet. We
Yeah.
were in the same dorm. We were on this different floor, but same side of the same dorm. We got into the same sorority. It was
It was
fate.
meant to be. It was meant to be because you're my
Did
opposite.
also wear this. I know, but we did also wear the same prom dress before we
We
knew each
did.
other.
We did. It
That
was
too.
like we knew each other in a little bit of a prior life.
I
So
know.
then also, how do you know this magical mythical thing of D&D? What was the thing that started you in the Dungeons and the Dragons?
So, got like was familiarized with it in like high school because I had a lot of D&D adjacent friends. I was friends with a lot of theater people, that's a lot of D&D people come from the theater people. And but didn't have anybody to play with because it was all people who were like, "Oh yeah, I played a game one time and I can't find anybody to play with ever." So, got to college and was like, "Huh, new group of people that I can introduce myself to," and ended up playing in a game with my college boyfriend who unceremoniously dumped me. Um, we won't get into all that. Everyone has a nightmare ex-boyfriend story.
That is true.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's canon. Um, but yeah, that was my intro to D&D. So I played some games in college, and then um, what was it, like 3 years ago?
2-ish years
We all
ago.
kind of
Yeah.
2-ish, 3-ish years ago. Well, it was probably about 3 years ago. We all started talking about
Yes.
like, oh, we miss
So
playing D
we
and
we
D,
did
and we haven't played in a while.
we did try a different campaign. It didn't really work out. And then, we'd been talking about it for more than 3 years. It would have been like
Hmm.
5. And then once I settled in with the one, the only, the one tasty pickle, I had a live in DM. So
You
he thinks
do.
that he brought us into the fold, but in reality, we were just preparing him for our eventual D&D campaign.
Yes, we bullied him
Yeah.
into being our DM, as all things, you know. But yeah, so now here we are,
Yeah.
2 campaigns in,
Yeah, starting campaign
a
2.
couple of
Yeah.
one shots in. Like we've been in this.
Yes, we have been. And You were one of the three OGs in Wes's first campaign that
Hmm.
kind of started Echoes and Embers. Which means that you played a very pivotal, I would say probably one of the most pivotal roles in the foundation of our setup to success. I don't even know if you can classify what we did as successful. Um,
It
Explain
was
to me
something.
what happened at the very beginning. Who is jargon to you? What is
Okay. So to go way back, we had like a short uh one shot. It was not a one shot, it was like a 3 or 4 shot before this game that we just wrapped recently started. And I was not playing the character that I played through the
that is
campaign.
true? Yeah.
I was a totally different character. And by the end of the one shot, 3 shot, whatever, I was just like, I'm not vibing with
Mhm.
her. I'm not really feeling like this is the fit. And so Wes, the only, the tasty pickle. I feel like we have to say that the whole
I
thing
know
every
it's the
time.
one, the only, the one tasty pickle in my brain.
Yeah.
It's exactly how that goes.
Uh-huh. But I went to him and I was like, hey, we got to switch this up. I don't like this character that I made. So I said, hey, I have my comfort character who was my original college D&D character. Her name is Mathilde. We got into some fights about how to pronounce her name, but her name is Mathilde. Remy can say it better than I can. Um, but I was like, she's a little spicy redhead wizard, and I just feel like that is the vibe. I'm gonna bring her in. And Wes went, cool. I have the perfect place to put her. I have the perfect intro, and immediately made her like everybody's jargon approved babysitter. Like
Yeah.
she
So
was working for him
he was the one
before
who
this
was
ever
like,
started.
he was the one who was like, I have a character ready to go to start your character in on. It wasn't like a
Hmm.
you met him and you're like ready to go. Okay, okay. It was so
Yeah.
long ago. It's so fuzzy in my brain on how that started because we just
Yeah.
met him
Oh
on the
yeah.
road, me and Poke at the time.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
walked into Jargon and he made a deal, but you had made a longer standing deal and had already been under his
Hmm.
apprenticeship for
Yeah.
years.
So the like Yeah, so the like behind the screens version of that is I had this backstory that was very detailed, as I do.
Mhm.
We'll talk about how crazy I get with my character creation later. But I had this very detailed backstory about how she had been like an archaeologist, an anthropologist, and worked with this university on another continent, and basically got dragged into a dig at a haunted crypt. And the professor she was working with unleashed this eldritch being. And Jargon was the one who popped in and saved her life and got her out of it. So the deal that they made was basically he was stringing her along, saying, if you do whatever I ask you to do and basically be my like dog's body right hand person, I will make sure that this thing does not catch up with you, and I will eventually help you put it away. Because she was
Mm,
very, at the beginning of the campaign, like, that is my one thing. I do not care about anything else. Everything is to the end of getting Jargon to finally fulfill his end of the deal.
yeah.
And I will do whatever it takes to get there. Um, and so, yeah, when Poke and Adver met, Tilly, she was at this tavern, and basically, Jargon told the two of you to go meet me
Hmm.
because I was like the liaison.
Yeah.
So once you had signed your deal, he was like, "Hey, this is who's going to give you your job and watch you and make sure you don't totally fuck up."
Yeah. Yeah. And then very soon after, we were sent off to the Coliseum and we met Cal
Hmm.
in that same time-ish, I
Yeah,
feel.
yeah, he was pretty
Because
soon
I do
after we
know
started.
that he was there when we went to the Coliseum, that he was a part of our
Yeah,
group. We'd met him on the way in.
yeah.
So we really didn't know Tilly, and Tilly didn't know Adver and Poke the way that we two knew each other entering into the Colosseum, and then we watch Poke get death by meteor strike. How was it sitting above table? How was it sitting watching one of your friends die, knowing that like your character had very little investment to that? Was that weird for you?
Yes. That was weird from a like because Tilly was my comfort character and my character I'd known for a really long time who she was. It was really weird to sit there and go, I know exactly how she would react if this was somebody that she did know.
Yeah.
Um, but as Wes put us into this situation where it was like, no, nobody's going to be comfortable here.
Right.
Because that's the point. That's how you get these really interesting, strong interpersonal relationships with your characters is you get put in these uncomfortable
Mhm.
situations immediately. So especially like looking at it as somebody who's like, I've known Gabby for 10 years. I've known
Right.
you for 10 years and I've known you in game for 10 minutes
Right. Exactly.
was really crazy. And yeah, it was a little bit of a trial by fire of like, okay, now I have to decide how is Tilly going to interact with these people? Like, how much is she willing to invest,
Right.
knowing what her priorities are here? How much is she willing to invest in a friendship? And that was initially a really hard thing for her.
Right.
So it
Especially
gave me a lot to work with at the very beginning.
especially with an in a no-win scenario. Like obviously
Hmm.
I did have a little bit more investment, so I was trying to run in there and fix it, but DM purposely had us at a distance where
Yeah.
we could not get in because her choices were her own, and
Hmm.
they had walked out of that conversation, just the two of them having made that consent and understanding that this was probably going to be the end of Poke, before they came back to the
Yeah.
crew and we got to find out what was happening in that room.
Yeah,
So
I know Gabby talked a little bit in her interview about like that was a situation where she was coming into it being a lot more comfortable than we were
yeah,
with saying goodbye to that character, and she was not 100% comfortable. So it was a big emotional thing to put in front of us. It was very interesting.
well, I think you and I tend to play a more comfort character, and so it's very hard for us to be like
Hmm.
emotionally detached. Like I feel like the beautiful thing about Gabby and the wonderful thing I think about her as a player and why I love it sitting with her at the table is she is actually weirdly comfortable in being uncomfortable with player character death.
Hmm.
Like if she does believe it's her time
Oh
for her
yeah.
character to die, she can do that in ways that I feel like people who
Hmm.
it's so many times when Adbear almost died, like I freaked out because I'm like, I can't imagine another character after
Hmm.
her. Even just ending the
Yeah.
campaign, I felt like that with her.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that about her. But you got handed a weird choice in that moment because I think that was the first time Jargon ever proposed marriage.
It was the morning after, no, it was the morning of the Coliseum, and he like did a whole it was the D&D version of the jukebox outside the window.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Because another like behind the screen thing, we, as we do with many things, bullied Wes into letting us create a very short playlist of music for our characters.
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and so I had given him about 3 songs that were Tilly-ish, and he took one and decided to use it to torture me
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
revenge. So Jargon was like having a whole like band of bards play Eleanor Rigby outside of my window,
Hmm.
and like with signs and everything, like very cringy. And she immediately shot him down because she was like, "Why?"
Right.
And the only hint we had had to that beforehand, by the way, was Poke liked to read people's minds,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
just recreationally. And Poke ended up being able to read Jargon's mind for like half a second.
I forgot all about
And
this. Yes.
and Poke heard him think something about how he liked Tilly's red hair. And Poke told Tilly.
Yep.
and, and Tilly was like, okay, I am processing this information, not sure what to do about it. But this was also when Jargon was not,
Clown. He was clown shaped. Was he
he
was
was
clown
clown
shaped?
shaped.
And so we're
This was
like,
not,
well,
we had,
I
Yeah,
I
we
think
had made a
Wes
lot
had.
of jokes about how we would hit that anyway, but we were not.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I think Wes was figuring out the clown angle was not hitting with a group of 3 women who were like supposed to
Yeah.
trust this character. We're like, absolutely not. We're not fucking with clowns. Because we didn't have the trust. Like now, when he brings up Mort, like obviously we don't like Mort, but like we can handle Mort. But at
Mhm.
that point, we're like, no, we'd rather burn him down. So it was intense between us and Jargon. So he just started making him slowly and slowly
Hot.
hotter, and
Yeah.
then started angling that towards Tilly, and then you got that marriage proposal. You obviously said no, and then later on, he kept
Uh-huh.
asking.
So after Poke died, he came in. So Jargon had this thing where when we went to sleep, he would pull us into like a pocket universe.
Yes.
And it was his long hallway. And at the end of the hallway was chairs and a table. And we'd all sit around the table. And this was like a recurring motif, a recurring theme. And sometimes he would just drag Tilly in.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was one of the times where he just dragged me in and was like, if you do this, I will bring Poke back. And so that was the first time she said no.
Okay.
Like thought about it and said, because the first time, like the very first time was a knee jerk. He's not really
Right.
serious, but that moment after Poke died was the first time that she really sat there and she went kind of like, he is serious. And I don't know if that is a bridge I'm willing to cross.
Right.
Because the way that he had phrased it was very like he would have all the power in that scenario.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And for Tilly as someone who had a lot of power taken away from her in the moment where she almost died, him taking the rest of the power that she has in this situation away from her, like he already has so much power over her that she was not comfortable giving up all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So she was like, I can't do that. So yeah, and then he started playing hardball.
Well, so at that point in time, we didn't know what Jargon was. We
Mhm,
didn't really know who he was character morally wise. Not that we knew that until damn well the very fucking end. But
mhm,
we also it was the first time he given an offer to you, and I feel like that was not never an offer that Tilly was going to accept was full power. Like obviously she knew he had a
mhm.
motivation behind it, and she only took on that when it became more convenient to her. So let's talk about what were the conditions that Wes had to give to you to make that a compelling love storyline that you played
Mhm.
into.
So there were definitely like she was very uncomfortable with the power imbalance, but also the complete lack of certainty she had about like who he was and what his motives were. Because at that time we were all kind of operating under the assumption that he was some sort of like fae or
Right.
demon because he was doing this deal making thing.
Mhm.
Um, and so like Tilly did this was one of the first times I think that Tilly kind of was vulnerable with the group and kind of went to Adver and Poke and Cal. I think it was just the three of y'all at the time. We didn't have anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, and said like this is kind of what's going on, and we started trying to figure out what he
Right.
was.
Yeah.
Um,
Many a
and I
group
mean
chat
we
even
had
outside the game trying to
many a
figure
group
out
chat.
what the fuck jargon
We had
was.
pages. I had so many texts to Wes being like, he gave me 10 tries to
Yeah.
figure out what jargon was, and none of them were correct.
I mean, how much
Yeah,
can you
and
guess
so
pseudo
Zach just
god?
went, I remember that. Yeah, no one would guess that. I was going so deep into the mythological lore,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
so deep. I was going into like Mesopotamian. I was going so deep. Research girl was on. Um, but so we started trying to figure this out, and eventually, I don't remember what happened, but we ended up being in a situation where I was able to look at jargon and be like, you, for the first time here, need me. And if I
Yes.
can't help you, then you are actually up shit creek. So we need to sit down and have a chat. And so that was the first time that we had And again, I was still operating under the assumption that he was Fae. So
Right.
I literally was writing out exactly what the terms were going to be of this
Make
agreement.
a very detailed contract, right? Yeah, with Fae, you got to be very specific.
I was writing it out, and I sent it all to Wes too, so we had it in writing. And it was like, okay, you are going to tell me like what you are and who you are, and tell me what you want. And I said there would never be any secrets between us again. Somehow he weaseled his way around that a little bit,
Well,
but
because he's not Fae, so he didn't, I guess, have to abide by the contract.
he didn't really have to abide
Technically.
by it, but yeah. But one of the big things that became a recurring element was Tilly said, "You are not going to have power over me. If we do this, this is going to be an equal partnership, and I will have equal power to you." Not knowing what that would actually entail.
Mhm.
And I think like situationally, Jargon also did not know exactly how that was going to shake out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because some things started happening that he did not intend.
Yeah.
It got real messy.
Well, originally, our goal for Jargon was he was a god who had died and then slipped out of
Mm-hmm.
hell. So then he
Mm-hmm.
needed some like things of power, and if we collected all of
Yeah.
those for him, then he would have become a god
So
again.
yeah. So originally he had like created his own failsafe, his own Horcruxes, if you will. And he had imbued these different magical artifacts with his power as a way of failsafe. Like if he gets those back, he can reabsorb that power and get a measure of his strength and ability back to be able to then challenge the god who usurped him for his position. We kind of royally fucked that up when Poke died, because that competition was supposed to be to get the first artifact.
Many fuck ups.
Yeah.
We got kicked out of that tournament because Poke died. So then we're just standing on the streets alone and
Yeah.
sad. And then Wes was like, "Well, that's not really a compelling story to them now. Like, they've been
Mm-hmm.
pleading with Jargon to save their friend's life. Like, they're already pretty invested in like Jargon now, thinking Jargon's a good guy. So let me just
Yeah.
make Thayrax their bad guy, and then I can make
Mm-hmm.
Jargon not the focus of is he scary or not, because at the beginning there was very little trust in Jargon coming in.
And I would like to say, to Gabby's credit,
She was always right.
no character Gabby ever played
Ever
trusted Charlie.
trusted Jargon. We were like, "Gabby, you have to
She was
play in the
right.
hook," and she was like, "Absolutely not. That guy's evil." And I'm like, "He's not playing
Yep.
evil. He's playing creepy." And Wes is like always at my house going, "He's playing creepy," you know, like
Mhm.
he does as his little goblin does.
Yep.
And
With the
yeah,
long
100%
john.
always right. She can spot
Mm-hmm.
Wes's bullshit a mile away, so good on her.
Oh yeah, that's her
But
superpower.
you are a writer outside of the world of
Yes.
dungeons. How was it kind of getting to create one of your books almost in reality, because you did have that kind of relationship with Tilly, and then in comes a romance hero
Yeah.
for ya.
Yeah. So first of all, Wes let me go real crazy when I was creating Tilly. Like I said, I had this really intricate backstory. I basically brought in a continent and said like, okay, like what flavor? Like I can come up with names for the towns that she's from and stuff. What flavor is your world? And he went, just make it.
Yeah.
Just do the thing. So I mean, I created an entire continent, multiple countries on that continent, made maps.
Yes.
There's-
Had a whole
Tilly
notebook
came
full
from
of
yeah,
journals.
Tilly came from a family of cartographers, so that was very in character. But yeah, then he gave me the jargon of it all, and I was like, this is so fun, because now we get to play with like, okay, this was 100% an I can fix him situation, because Tilly was like, something is weird and wrong here. She didn't know what it was, but she was very much like, there are things he's still not telling us.
Right.
And she was like, she was ride or die.
Yeah.
for jargon. So that was so fun because I was like, yes, I get to be the one who's ignoring all the red flags
All the red flags.
wholesale.
Yeah.
All the
And
red flags just right past them.
well, okay, for the first little bit, aka the first like 8 months to 10 months to almost to the freaking end,
Almost
we
a year.
kept creating such bigger problems than finding out who the big bad was. We let a god eater out of
Hmm.
a suitcase.
Yes, we
Um,
did.
I had something to do with
Yeah.
that. Still feel bad about
Hmm.
that one. So we did
Yeah,
definitely
you
keep
did.
ourselves very occupied
Hmm.
in not looking into what jargon was and why jargon
Yeah.
was asking things of us and why he kept saving us and all of that. And also
Hmm.
why Michael Lilliford, the god he was trying to mm, didn't like him very
Uh-huh.
much. How was it
Yeah.
for you finding out
Um,
in game that he was not who he said he was to you?
so it was a creeping for probably the last like 4 or 5 games. It was like a creeping suspicion because we kept finding things out
Hmm.
as we went along. And I also want to, like, for context, point out, for those who were not present at the time, that like Tilly was so ride or die for jargon that the like big, most powerful god in the pantheon and his little sidekick gods kidnapped jargon. Jargon was supposed to die.
Yep.
Like Wes told us 100% after that game, Jargon was supposed to die. Um, but so Tilly started going crazy.
Yep.
She got half the powers of a god. That does tend to, mess with one's brain cells a bit. And so I just wholesale was like, I am going to like spit and glue and duct tape together a spell that does not exist
Hmm.
in real life to transport us to where they are holding jargon, and we're gonna break this bitch out of jail.
Hmm.
Yeah,
The god of the
the
end
big
was
bad,
there. We were
the
running
god,
through
yeah,
levels.
the god dislocated the shoulder of, I think, Gabby's character. Yeah,
Yeah.
like grabbed Gabby's
No,
character and
took his
dislocated her
took her
shoulder.
arm off, right? Wasn't that when she lost her
We
arm and
were,
got it reattached?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we were gonna die. And like that is how ride or die Tilly was for this man,
We went to hell
that
for
she
jargon.
broke him out of God jail. We did immediately after that go to hell for jargon, and then didn't realize that because it was not his domain, he like got sicker and sicker and sicker and weaker. And then had to get him out of there real quick.
Well, actually, what we
Um,
ended up doing was, I think, started a cult of jargon inside of
yes, we
hell to
did.
keep him alive as we paraded him through hell. It was
That was
doughboys
Chris's
were
that was Chris's
involved.
genius idea.
Yes, I mean, thank God we had somebody who understands how goddom works in that moment, because we would have killed
Because
your
the
husband
rest of
then.
us were going on, yeah, the rest of us were going on vibes only. But yeah, so we really like, I was king of the jargon is fantastic. Let's get this guy his godhood back
Yeah.
campaign. Um, and so the last like 5 or so sessions, we started finding out, first of all, that so your character grew up in a little bit of a cult.
Little cult.
Um, and
Little
your
cults
character's
set by
mother
your,
figure, yeah,
yeah.
it's a cult. Yeah. And your character's mother figure, the leader of your temple, uh, actually was Jargon's daughter.
Yeah.
Which we found out right at the end.
Hmm.
And we found out like all of the little spidery connections coming together, that like, so the god eater that we let out of the suitcase was her doomed lover. And they were separated by jargon and both cursed. And it was a whole thing. And so this whole like him getting ousted was partially a result of
Hmm.
that. And so all of these, like, we thought were not connected at all, little things started coming together. And Tilly was just sitting there like, oh, I have caused that, I have encouraged this problem.
Yeah.
I have created a worse problem. Um, but also was very conflicted because she had, I mean, for a year of that campaign, I I had been like, Tilly's going to become a god.
Yep. With
We're
Jargon.
going to get Jargon back up there until he's going to become a god by his side. I mean, to the point where, I mean, she was fully willing to kill one of the gods if they hadn't started killing each other off.
Yep.
Yeah, she was really invested in that. And so to have her watch all of this start coming together, and then, I mean, never really had time to react to it because we were in crisis situation
Yeah.
for like 3 or 4 episodes, um, to the very end where, of course, Gabby got her godhood.
Yep.
Darash got her godhood, and while she was having the conversation with Delilah, who was the queen of the gods, and Delilah was offering her Darash's godhood, Jargon was offering Tilly.
Mhm.
And that was the moment where, now knowing everything, she had to, he basically said, like, if you help me destroy all the rest of these people, I will save your people.
Right.
And she had to say no, thinking at the time, because she wasn't privy to anything that was happening with Darash and Delilah. She was thinking that basically she was sentencing them all to die.
Right.
Because she wouldn't put aside like the gut feeling. And this was also like, again, Tilly was a really like chaotic neutral character who had no personal morals except for what's best for me and the people I care about. So having to sit there in that moment and be like, oh shit, I'm about to make a moral decision,
Yeah.
did not sit well with her.
Mhm.
But she was like, she couldn't make herself do it.
Yeah. I mean, in that moment, Jargon said, I'll get you out. And you're like, well, what about my people? And he's like, I'll get you out.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, now. And then turn around and in our final episode where I am peaking at my hatred for Jargon, you obviously were still in a place of, well, that's my husband, that's my person,
Yeah.
and we had to do combat literally over you. I was like, I'm really sorry, but I am killing his daughter and him in front of you,
Hmm.
regardless of how you feel
Yeah.
about it. This man has traumatized me. Which we'll get into why that's traumatizing for Adbear when it's
Yeah.
Adbear's turn.
When it's
Um,
your turn.
but how'd that feel in that moment? Because
Yeah,
like you did opt out of combat for a lot of that portion
I
because you
did.
were in heartbreak.
Yeah. So she kind of, I delayed making the decision until the very last moment. So going into that fight, was on Jargon's side. Like, I took his hand. I was like, I, I have put myself in this situation for better or for worse. I have made my bed and now I'm going to lie in it.
Hmm.
Um, but then when it got to where it was not just him attacking, um, Mother Melanier and Zoroastricastrian, whatever the crap his name was.
No worries.
Yeah,
Cleo
it's a
Floridax, whatever,
Calea
Zella,
that.
whatever the
Um,
other one was called, Zal something.
too many consonants. Too many consonants is what that was.
Wes already makes so
Um,
many bad spelling characters, and then we had that one, and he made us spell it backwards. I was like, we're never getting
Terrible.
this ever.
Terrible. But yeah, when it was just them, she was like, I 100%, I don't care.
Right.
I will help you kill them. But then when he turned on the rest of you because you wouldn't help him, that was when I was like, okay, I can't. I have to step away. But she didn't enter combat at that
Right.
point. She just stepped away and like kind of froze. Um, and then, of course, we almost immediately went into, I guess, kind of what I think is the pre-epilogue, where the fight closed and we
Mhm.
had Darash ascend to her godhood, and we had everybody. Well, I guess Darash had already ascended to her
Thrash
godhood.
ascended to her godhood in the episode
Yeah.
before, and then in the very last episode, we killed off Jargan. We
Hmm.
then ended up having to be called to the meeting of the gods because there are
Yeah.
so many gods out of the pantheon, and you can't have that many holes.
That they
They needed
had to
to do an
replace
immediate
them.
meeting, to
So
which
we get,
we get called
yeah.
to.
Yeah, so we get to that meeting, and number one, it's like to kind of ratify Darash as a new member of the Pantheon
Yeah.
because she got elevated, she got the powers, but she hasn't been like legitimized yet. But there were other spaces open.
Yeah.
And so it became the gods walking around and kind of having this conversation, but also looking at all of us in the party. And some of the gods like chose to suggest us.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Delilah spoke for Darash and talked about why she was a good choice. And Delilah's whole thing was like, you are a good choice because you don't want it.
Right.
You are a good choice because you're not going to abuse this power. And then, like, Tilly, I was sitting there, Tilly was feeling the absolute worst about herself
Mm-hmm.
because she was the person who wanted to become a god.
Yep.
She was the one who wanted it more than she wanted breath
Mm-hmm.
because it represented the total reclamation of her own personal power in a way that she had been ripped had ripped from her. And so to sit there and watch what that desire did to the pantheon of the gods, to the world, to her friends.
Yep.
And she was sitting there going, I don't want any of that. Like, I want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go. I don't want to ever have to talk to these people again. I am done. And so to then have your patron
He knew.
walk over,
Look, he
yeah.
knew. He knew what he's doing. I feel like he knew jargon the best. I think he knew jargon at his
Hmm.
best and at his worst. Having
Because
housed
Niram and
him,
Jargon were
they were friends.
friends.
They were friends,
Yeah.
and he was
Hmm.
his both his jailer and his confidant. And so
Hmm.
I feel like he knew that you could fill the hole that we needed in the pantheon, and that you would be the
Hmm.
rightful choice to go and step in. And I think that was a
Yeah.
brilliant decision because we
Yeah.
were all there as
And it
champions,
was,
and we all knew fucking
mhm.
Adbear was not gonna become a god. So I was like,
Yeah.
perfect, glad my god
Yeah.
understands who I am.
Hmm.
Perf.
Well, and Cal too.
Yes.
Cal was like, we were all like, Cal needs to be the one.
We kept
We
trying to
need to
throw
have
goddom
this.
at him. Like, I think
Yeah.
I threw goddom at him one time. I was like, literally, Cal, if you do not tell me you want to be a god right now. And
Yeah.
he's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I was like, oh my God. We'll talk about why, because
Yeah.
he also had reasons
Yeah.
for being like, I can't make a good god. And
Hmm.
the DM was pushy about it.
He
He's
had
like,
some really, yeah, he
DM,
had some deep-seated,
yeah,
yeah,
just bullshit.
backstory reasons of his own. But yeah, so Niram came in and Niram like basically stood in front of Tilly and said, I need you to do this.
Um,
This is what needs to happen. Um, and so that was that. I don't cry like y'all cry in
I
D and
know.
D. I get emotional, but I do not have the like waterworks sometimes that my beautiful, beautiful
I
Remy
am
and
a
Gabby do.
spigoter. I can't help myself.
Oh, but I broke.
Yeah.
I broke when Niram came and asked Tilly to ascend because that was the moment where she felt her absolute lowest. Um, and that was a really like the way that happened was just sometimes when you're playing D&D you have these moments that just scratch your brain,
Mm-hmm.
like the absolute poetry of the storytelling. It's like we're all Critical Role fans. The moment when in the Critical Role campaign 2 live show where they finally discover that Essek is like kind of a bad dude, and Liam O'Brien, the wonderful, wonderful Liam O'Brien, who is like the actor that I hope to be half as good as a player, came in and like absolved him, talking from his character's place of doing bad things for what he thinks are good reasons and being manipulated by people and all that. And it was just that that is peak D&D, and that's what that moment with Niram felt like for me. was that moment of there's no Tori left here, there's no Mal left here. There is Tilly talking to Niram. That is not Wes, that is not Pickle Man. That is Tilly talking to the god of death.
The god of the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that it shows both on you as a player and both him as a DM to be able to step into that where
Mm-hmm.
like by the time we finished that campaign, I don't feel like we questioned, oh, would Adver do that or, would Tilly do that? No,
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like we had so immersed ourselves into the obsession. We were calling it get weird with it when I was talking with
Yeah.
Gabby. It's it's getting weird with
Yeah.
it because like when you are
Mm-hmm.
totally invested in who they are like little people that live in your brain. And playing those little people like comes so naturally that we're all sitting there in awe of that moment. Like I remember that moment of Tilly and Niram talking and being like in awe of like where we had come in D&D because that was definitely not where we had started 2 years ago when we had started
Yeah.
that campaign. And it
Mm-hmm.
just showed me like how much trust and faith we have in the DM, but also just like how much fun we have at the table. Like we really do
Yeah.
love being at
And
that
how much
table.
yeah, and how much we all really got to trust each other
Yeah.
because, like, I know you talked about this a little bit with Gabby, but it was just the three of us at the beginning, and then we had Cal, and
Mhm.
for a while it was just us and Cal. And we had, like, we've got really solid with each other and our ability to trust each other from a storytelling perspective. And then we added in
Chris was next.
Chris,
Yep.
and then we added in Alyssa after that. And every time there is this adjustment period. But by the end of it, we had figured out where everybody sat in the roles,
Mhm.
because everybody kind of plays in a different way and interacts with their characters and each other's characters in a different way. And we had gotten so solid in that. And there were some definite growing
Oh
pains,
yeah, for
but we had
sure.
gotten so solid with that by the end. It was so satisfying to have that last, like, again, that last 5 or 6 episodes where it was just flowing. There was no
Locked in.
hesitation. There was no, yeah. And I have to, again, like, kind of shout out and highlight Gabby here because Gabby is our babyest D&D player.
No,
She is
okay,
our
she's
least
our Alyssa is our
okay.
now least experienced.
Alyssa is
So,
now
but
our, yes.
when we came in, Gabby was we had been playing, you and I had been playing for a couple years, and
Hmm.
she was our first newbie, and she is a very cautious human, which came into
She is.
cautious
But
person.
by the time, yeah, but by I feel like having Poke go out the way she did
Mhm.
and having that trial by fire, by the time she got comfortable with Darash, which did not take, like, I know she said in her
Oh yeah.
interview it took her a while to really jive with, but that woman was making decisions that I would be petrified to
Yep.
make as a person. Like making story choices and backstory choices that were so pivotal and so deeply emotional. And I get nervous doing that in a D&D game sometimes. Like I get nervous making the choice that is a great character choice, but like not a choice I would ever make as a person.
Yeah.
Um, and Gabby makes those choices and just commits. She just comes in here and she says, "This is who my character is, and it's not good on purpose."
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we need to be comfortable. We need to sit in that discomfort and work with it. We need to understand. So she is really not afraid to make those choices of having a flawed character.
I love her
And
because
as much as
it's not metagaming either. Like
yeah,
she's like a lot of people are like, I
it's
want to be
not.
strong. I want to like figure out
Hmm.
how to make the tools. Gabby gives zero shits about that. She's like, I am here
Yeah,
to play reality, like how I am feeling,
yeah,
how I need to express myself, and she's 100%
hmm,
in. And some of those
yeah,
choices, like crazy. Like she was the first person that in the game I was like, girl, I love you, but your choices are
hmm,
crazy.
yeah.
Being in love with
And
Therax.
that's so, yeah, and that's so brave as someone who's at a table with people who know you really
Yeah.
well and people who don't know you well at all.
Hmm.
Because I think there is this thing when you play D&D with people that you know really well, which we all know each other really well at this point,
Right.
even though some of us were total strangers, where it's like, do not think that the choice I am making right here reflects at all who I am as a person. Like, this is not a thing that Remy would do,
Right.
or that Mal would do, but this is a thing that my character is doing, or this is something that happened. We had this discussion about this week's game, which I know has not streamed yet. But something happened at the very end of this week's game that Fish is going to be mad about.
You're allowed to talk about it because
Okay.
we're going to air this
This
after.
is going to come out after. Okay.
Yeah.
So at the end of this week's game, we were all in a burning room, and everybody, just the way initiative went, the room caught on fire right after my initiative turn.
And
so
the stream went off. So
and
we
the stream
couldn't
went off,
see the
so we
board
lost
anymore. So it was
we
really
lost our board.
inconvenient.
So it was really hard to figure out where people were in the room. And just because of the chaos of that moment and the technical difficulties, and me having already gone, and not like, we didn't all quite realize that, like, I was now technically at the end of the initiative order for this situation that we had found ourselves in. Fish got left in the burning room.
Yeah.
And everybody else noped the fuck out. And I had to go into the girls' chat and be like, I need you to understand that I am so not mad about that. Like, that happened. Fish ran out. Like, we are totally theater of the minding that Fish ran out of that room. Finna opened up like a line of fire free, like right next to her.
Like,
yeah. But also, I sat there and I went, oh, but actually, Fish just watched everyone save somebody else and carry somebody else out of that room except for her. And she's going to start in next game kind of going, I don't know whether to be upset and hurt by that, or to feel like everybody thought I had my shit figured out. And she's like, I absolutely have my shit figured out, but I don't know these people, and they're already comfortable leaving me behind in a burning room. So like, I only feel comfortable making those choices because Gabby made some of the choices she made last campaign.
She is
I'm
an
gonna be
inspiration
completely
on
honest.
that, isn't she? Because she'll
Yeah.
act like she doesn't say yes enough, but sometimes when she says yes, it's so powerful. You're like, damn, girl, like, ready and willing to change the whole game with her choices, and I love that.
It's like, yeah, because she had some moments where she was like, really, Jarash was really upset with the group.
Yeah.
And it's hard to make sure that you communicate to your group that you're not mad with them as people, you're mad with their characters. And yeah,
in-game
that's the
conflict
kind of
makes
thing
for good
have
story, but you have to
to.
play it with
But you
consent on
don't,
both ends,
yeah,
right? Like, it
you don't
can't.
want to hurt your friends' feelings.
Right. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
struggled in on that early with Gabby because of Poke, because I was the one holding the stupid little gnome by her hair and being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I kept saying to Wes, I was like,
yeah.
that makes me uncomfortable because, like, I love Gabby. She's one of my closest friends. And he goes, you're not mad at Gabby. You're mad at Poke.
You're
and I'm
mad
like,
at Poke. Yeah.
That makes me a better player to understand that, like, Adver doesn't have the attachment of 10 years that I do as player to Gabby the person. So
yeah,
I applaud you when you make those moments, because it's uncomfortable to sit there and be like, yeah, no, like, that hurts me in game, but not player to player, because that's hard to figure when you're close friends. But I do feel like is great when we have a variety of people now sitting at our table, because being vulnerable with Alyssa and Cal and Chris, I feel like was harder for us at the get-go. But once we were able to do that and pass that little bit of, like, the weird, I don't know you barrier, I can't imagine sitting at a table without Cal. Like, he's fantastic.
Oh, for sure.
And Chris
Cal
pulled me out
and
of a building.
Yes. I mean, all of them are just like, I feel like they brought things that we were so sorely missing.
Yeah.
Chris is definitely the person who is thinking 5 steps ahead constantly because he's played so much D&D.
Yes.
Like, I have played a lot of D&D. I am not to the level that Chris. I will never be to the level that Chris is.
It's a permanently
he is
built
a walking, talking encyclopedia.
Yes, he is, absolutely. And I love playing with him
Mhm.
because, like, the shit he does, you're just like, "Oh, that's something my brain can't even comprehend."
That
Um,
is yeah, that is big brain.
right. Like, I was like, "I hit things with a staff." Like, that's about as good as I
Mhm.
got last game, but he's over there with, like, a sphinx and a portal, and I'm like, "I'm glad you're taking me along for the ride because I have no idea what you're doing, bud."
Yep. That is who you need playing a wizard.
Yeah, no,
And I say
seriously.
that as someone Tilly was a wizard, but Tilly was a vibes wizard and a in when in doubt, set it on fire wizard.
Mhm.
Although her favored terrain was stomping her foot and making thunderbolt happen. But like yeah, that is the sort of person you need in the game who is able to think 5 or 10 steps ahead in every situation from a strategic standpoint. And then you have Cal, who is
I hit it with my
like the
axe.
backbone.
Dude,
He is absolutely the hit it with my axe person, but he is also like the backbone. He is the one who is 100% committed.
yes.
Like you get in a room with any of Cal's characters who are also called Cal,
All
and
cows.
he is like, yeah, he is like, you're my best friend now.
Yep. I'm taking
I
care of
will
you.
not let anything happen to you.
I'm
Yeah,
taking care of you. Like,
I'm here.
you are
Yeah,
here.
there are
Like,
no questions.
he stepped right in front of Fenna with more. He's like, absolutely not. You're not taking
Hmm.
her. He always was defending us during D&D every single time we got into battle during last campaign. I
Hmm.
love sitting with Cal at the table because you know what you're going to get, which is a version of Cal. It's always
Yes.
Cal. Like, I feel like I don't play Remy, but Cal plays Cal, and it feels so true to
Hmm.
essence, and I love that about him. And he gives
Yes.
me such enjoyment at the table. And then, of course, you got Alyssa
Hmm.
with the accents, and I mean, like, every single time I hear
I,
her accents, I'm like,
Alyssa is the drama queen that you love.
yeah,
She's the one who's like, you're going to be the comic relief, but you're also going to be the person who is like, we need somebody to be a distraction. I'll be a
yeah,
distraction.
she's
This
gonna.
is fun.
I think
Alyssa
she's
is the person
finding
who looks
the.
at any situation. Yeah. Alyssa has become the player who looks at any situation and goes, this is going to be fun.
Mhm.
Like, she is just here for the delight.
I think
Yeah. That is
she just got
100%.
out of her newbie phase where she's like, okay, I'm a character
Hmm.
in. I can now read a character sheet. And now she's at, well, if I can be anything, who's going to be my ideal character? I think she's like at the ideal character
Hmm.
line, which never comes with your first character. It's always a bejumbled
Hmm.
mess. Like, you can love them, but
Oh,
they're
yeah.
always a little bit of the
Hmm.
hot mess category. And now with Zalaria, I feel like she's much more in her element. And I'm excited to see because
Oh,
she's
yeah.
doing,
Zolaria is turning out is looking like a comfort character zone to me.
yeah,
Like that is somebody that you can just she can inhabit that
right then. Yeah, it's
100%.
prepped in.
Yeah,
Now,
that and everybody's got to have a comfort character.
you have to have something you
Everybody's
can
got to
zone
have one that
into.
they
Yeah.
come back to. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So, Cal, Team Dad, Alyssa is game for anything. Like here for how can I make this fun?
Yep.
Like 100%. Chris is our mastermind. Gabby is our hard choices girl. You are our little ray of weird ass sunshine.
The weirder
Every
the
single character
better.
you play. On paper, Finna and Advair could not be more
Different.
different. In vibes, those are
Same
the
shit.
funkiest little people.
Same
Those
shit.
are the weird ass people. It's
I
just it's delightful.
I and we're going to talk about how fish comes to character creation because I feel like how
Yeah.
you come to character creation is very different than how I come to character creation. And
Uh-huh.
the way I create a character is I first sit down and think, what is the thing I really should talk to a therapist about? And then I take it to my
Mhm.
partner who's the DM and I go, "Hey, I have found the way to make them weird." And he's like, "They don't
Mhm.
have to be weird." And I proceed to
They do.
then tell him my plan because yes, if we're
Mhm.
playing in, especially in his world, weird fits so well. So I have just descended into more and more weird as he goes along, and
Mhm.
because they come from a place of I need therapy, they tend to come from a very honest feeling I have of not
Mhm.
feeling fully connected in the universe. So that's why the first thing you hear from them is, whoa, that's a weird character. Once
Mhm.
I'm done really developing that overarching umbrella of therapy, maybe I will move on to somebody who is a little less odd. But we haven't gotten there yet, so we're still living in it, right?
Yeah, but I feel like that's also everybody has a vibe that they go for with their characters. Like, I feel like yours is always the person who is a little weird and crazy, but 100% like in their world, that's not weird.
Yeah.
And that's where you live. Where I live with my characters is deeply traumatized and mad about it.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely got a
That's
little
how
bit of
all of my characters
anger
are.
spite. And I feel like Fish is even
Hmm.
more angry outwardly
Oh
than Tilly
yeah.
was.
Oh yeah. Tilly was very much like I will laugh about it, but then I will also set things on fire.
Hmm.
Or, casual necromancy or whatever she's feeling that day. Um, Fish is much more outwardly aggressive. She's a monk, she hits things.
Yeah.
I decided to go magicless this time.
How's that
Very
feel?
much on purpose. It's weird and different. I have played a monk before. I have played like a V1 version of Fish where
Hmm.
she had the same name but was completely different otherwise. Um, so I've played a monk mechanically. But it's I gave her a weird voice to force myself out of the comfort zone of where my characters usually live.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that I haven't quite figured her out yet, but what I have figured out about her is really interesting to me.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's really different mechanically. It's much simpler in a way, which I enjoy. We haven't had a ton of combat yet. I don't actually think Fish got to do anything
Not at all,
except
actually. I think run
yeah,
away and
except
panic.
cut some strings.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we haven't done a whole lot of combat yet. But I have of course played a monk in Baldur's Gate 3, so
Hmm.
I am somewhat familiar with the
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 mechanics.
fighting mechanics. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how her backstory gets woven in because it's a very different vibe than what I've done before. Even with uh, can I talk about the campaign that never was with Abernathy?
Yeah, because we will eventually be playing
Yeah,
Abernathy.
we
So,
will. We will eventually.
first, if you want to explain
Um,
what Abernathy is, because we have talked
yeah,
about it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
casually and not actually explained it.
So before we did this campaign, Wes was throwing around some different ideas for things that we could do, and one of the things that he was throwing around and got to the point where we all created characters for it. Um, was the Abernathy Chronicles, which was kind of a monster of the week, ghost hunters, supernatural hunter kind of thing, but set in Victorian London,
Hmm.
spooky Victorian London, kind of like Candela Obscura vibes a
Yeah.
little bit. But he put that on the back burner because he wanted to do some more serious work on it. But even with that character, I was very intellectual, very bookish, very she was like a proper British lady. And so coming from the Tilly and that character's name Sibylla, coming from that vibe of someone who is very self-assured and very intelligent, and coming to Fish, who is intelligent in a very different way.
Hmm.
Um, is yeah, it's a total character shift, but I'm enjoying the break from having to think so hard.
Honestly, I took the similar vibe when I played Monk of little thought, must hit. And I enjoyed
Hmm.
playing a monk for that reason because I knew I was never going to be the most powerful in the room. As a monk, you're going to hit a lot, but you're still not ever going to be like the strongest.
Yeah,
But
you're not throwing fireballs at people.
it's still fun mechanically to play, and also I
Hmm.
just think that they are just fun characters with the way a monk becomes a monk. I feel like gives you a very
Hmm.
fun backstory that I personally really
Oh
enjoyed
yeah.
playing into. And I think Fish, the thing I love about Fish is that she is the way of the drunken monk, which was something that I so
Yeah.
desperately wanted to play into with with Adbear, but was definitely not the vibe for that character. So I'm glad that that's what you chose because I think that's a fun class in Monk to play.
Yes. Fun subclass. So shall we talk about the character creation of it all?
Yeah, let's see. Like, okay, let's talk about let's post Tilly. What made you
Mhm.
decide to go non-mag? Was that like a I have magicked myself out a little bit situation?
Yeah. I looked at some of the other magic classes and I knew you were going to go druid, so I didn't want to double up. Warlock has always felt a little limiting to me, although I love the vibes because I love a creepy. I
Yeah.
love something creepy. I have played a warlock before. That is another one of my favorite characters I have ever played, but it did not feel like where I wanted to go next.
Mhm.
Um, and so when I was thinking about, okay, I want to be more in the front lines with combat this time because Tilly tried to be in the front lines a lot, and I
Mhm.
really struggled with that because am the sort of player who wants to be in the middle of
Mhm.
things, but wizards are very squishy, and so
Stand in
that
the back. Yep.
got her into a lot of bad situations. So it's like, okay, I need to understand that about myself and I need to get to a place where I can, you know, have the ability to get in the fray, but I need a little bit more facility. I need a little bit more going on than like a straight fighter or barbarian. So monk kind of sits in that space where you got a few extra little sprinkles of fun on there.
Yeah.
Um, and you do have that built-in interesting background and the way that you get to where you are as a monk. But yeah, it wasn't because I love a good barbarian, a good fighter, but I have tried to play them before and it did not fit into my
Yeah.
play style. So monk really fit in that space that I wanted to create for my new character.
I I do love that our team especially has no issue kind of swapping around who's playing what so that way we all get to try a little bit of something new. Like I know there are
Hmm.
people who play D&D and they're like I'm an elf cleric and I am an elf cleric till the day I die and
Hmm.
we're not those people because we're so to the we would like to explore every character dynamic. I do feel like there are some things that are
Yeah.
just like naturally like emotionally a little off limits because like it's so against how I play and so I do feel that like
Hmm.
I love a good barbarian. I've tried a barbarian before. One day, maybe I will figure out how to play a fun barbarian. I think it's somewhere in me. It's not there yet, so I feel that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you and I kind of swapped because I, I was very
Hmm.
non-magic last game, and you were very magic, and now I'm very magic, and you're very non-magic, and I think
You've
that's
done the flip flop.
yeah.
Hmm.
In
Yeah.
true besties, we are the opposites of one another always.
Oh
So
yeah. But so yeah, once I did that, once I figured out that I wanted to do monk, it was we also all had to figure out what kind of race we were going to be, and we all kind of played it safe last campaign.
yes, yeah.
We really played it safe last campaign. You were a half elf?
I'm an elf. I'm
Elf?
always an elf.
Elf?
I love elves. This is
You're always an elf.
I'm not an elf this game, and that's me being
Hmm.
different.
Yeah. We were all, I mean, Cal was probably the most out there. He was a dragonborn,
Purple
but all the
dragonborn.
rest of us were very, yeah, very like humanoid looking. Tilly was a straight human.
Hmm.
Um, and so the other thing that I was like, okay, total about face, totally different. I wanted to do something that was not human because, again, it was like, I need this to be not just character different, but physically and vocally different.
Hmm.
Um, so another one of the things that I was like, okay, what can I do that is achievable for me, that is going to be sustainable for a long game, but is going to be just out of my comfort zone enough that I can really fall into and inhabit a new character from that acting perspective. Because that's also something that like I have taken an acting class or two. I was a high school theater kid, but this is not my day to day.
Mhm.
Like Alyssa, it is Alyssa's day to day. She is a professional opera singer and on top of everything else she does.
Yeah.
Um, I am a recovering opera singer. so so I wanted something that like I could find the character in that
Yeah.
physicality and that vocal place and push myself to that and have that access to it. So I was like, you know what? I have 2.5/3 cats. We say a half because Leo lives outside half the time. For the viewers at home, my husband and I moved from Dallas area back to my hometown in Mississippi, and we are building a house. So at the moment, we are living with my parents as 30-year-olds. It's real fun. Um, but we have 2 cats and a dog. And my dad is deathly allergic to cats. So the cats have their own little cat condo. We built them a separate little tiny house to live in while we're building our house. And in the meanwhile of all of this, a few months into us building our house, Kitten came up to my parents' back porch and made himself at home. So now we have 3 cats. so so actually, Leo, who is I think on the back porch right now, but he is my fish-spiration.
Inspiration.
Um, he looks like fish. He has the same coloring as fish. He has a lot of the same mannerisms as fish. So every time I'm doing something weird with my hands in the camera, because that's really all you can see, I'm trying to do a cat thing. We will probably get better at that. Sometimes it looks like I'm flailing. But yeah, I wanted to kind of adopt some of those physical mannerisms too. So that's kind of where I start. If you start with your trauma and what you need to go to a therapist about, I start with what can I push myself to do that's different so that I I can explore something different. And how can I still make that interesting
Yeah.
to me
Well,
and something that I want to come back to every week.
Gabby and I were talking, was like, what helps you put on the hat? Like, what helps you
Mhm,
become the character? Because there's always got to be something that you go from the person who's doing dishes in your house and cleaning your floor to a magical mythical cat who's running around in a horror scenario.
mhm,
Those are different people, and I I feel like your accent pushes fish forward so much that it's like, oh yeah, no, fish is at the table.
mhm.
It's
Fish is here.
yeah.
Yes. It also helps differentiate when Mal is speaking to everyone above table and when Fish is interacting, because that was definitely a challenge I had with Tilly, is Tilly just sounded like me.
Yeah, yeah.
There was absolutely no difference. But yeah, the accent definitely helps. Sounding like a 12 pack a day smoker.
I don't know
I
how you sustain
I
it. It's
definitely
impressive.
I put myself in a position, and I actually had the discussion with Wes where he was like, "Can you actually sustain this?" And I went, "Well, we'll find out."
Yeah.
Um, but hey, recovering opera singer, one of the things I do know how to do is make my voice do weird things without putting stress on my vocal cords. So
You're doing a great job.
that's
I love it when fish talks. I feel
thank
like
you.
it's always such an exciting thing to watch. I feel that because it's so funny, like we're all engaged at the table when we're hearing it. So like it's
Mhm.
all of us just going on
Yeah.
goes. And I love that.
I'm glad you guys enjoy and appreciate it because, okay, so I steal my mom's office when we play every Sunday. I am currently sitting in the kitchen, but I steal my mom's office so that I can close the door. Because Zach, the few times he has walked by when I am doing that voice, I, he has to leave. He's standing right here. He's like, I have to run away. I'm good, thank you. But he cannot deal with it. He's like, that is the weirdest sound I've ever heard come out of your mouth,
See, it's so funny because
and
everyone
I
else
have to
has
live with you.
we all have the opposite reaction. Every time we talk, like I feel like everyone's like, "Oh my god, I love it when fish speaks." Like we're all
Uh-huh.
excited because it's out of your normal range, and I think that's cool. Like I think that's
Mhm.
so interesting and fun for us at the table because we
Oh,
are
100%.
I
I
feel
love
like
it.
we're now at the point of everyone's gonna try a little bit of an accent, doing a little bit of something. I feel like once my Southern turns on, though, it's not coming off, so you will not be able to tell the difference between me
Mhm.
talking above the table and at the table. Because Fenna takes over, she's not letting hold and go until the end of the game at all.
Look, it's infectious because sometimes fish sounds country fried.
Yeah, I'm real sorry
It's
for
just
that.
it happens,
It's the
but
Mississippi in me. It just comes right back into it because I'm trying to do something
it
like a little
comes
Creole
out.
with it,
Yeah,
so it just pushes it right back into home.
it
Yeah.
comes right out. It does. And three of us at this table have either always or, for at least a good portion of our lives called Mississippi our home.
Hmm.
Well, I guess all of us have moved away at some point. I'm the only one who got dragged back. I say drag. I love it here. It's very chill. It's very humid,
Hot.
but it's great. Um, but yeah, so we have some definite accent problems at this table because when one of us gets going, all the rest of
Yeah,
us
we started a
just
train.
get dragged down. Yeah, it comes out. And I used to be that person who only sounded like I was from Mississippi when I was very drunk. No more. No more. We are here. But as we are talking about things that get us into our
Hmm.
characters,
Hmm.
I feel because Gabby said she would be very upset if we didn't talk about it.
Oh, your
We got to talk
Spotify.
about the
Gotta
playlists.
talk
We got
about
to
the
talk about
Spotify
the
play.
Spotify.
Perfect. Yes. So we have already
Mhm.
talked about in these interviews that everyone comes at our character creation differently. We're not all coming at it. What are the ways that you start in when it comes to a character because it is very specific?
Yes. Okay. So, I know some people start with backstory. I start with the character sheet. I am filling that thing out. I am making my rolls, and I kind of get it out of the way. And then, usually, I will start vibing with a backstory. I will start writing out the kind of like facts of the character, like where they came from, who their parents are, that the basics. But where I really start vibing with the personality of my character is through the magic of the Spotify playlist. So I have brought my phone to the table for this discussion. So just to give you an idea of where we were by the end of last campaign, Tilly had 3 separate playlists. We have the like classical music and the like deep character moments playlist,
Hmm.
which was called Dead Inside but Caffeinated. We have that here. You can see, among other things, some features from Star Trek, from what is that, Altered Carbon. We have the piano version of Toss a Coin to Your Witcher.
Love that.
So it's just vibes, like, but it's like that classical music, that like deep, deep heart of the character. And then I had Mild Mannered Academic, which was my like kind of my hype playlist. This is what I'd listen to before the game every week.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and so this is the postmodern jukebox version of Zombie. This is a lot of K-Flay, a lot of Halsey, some Olivia Rodrigo, some Taylor
Mm.
Swift. Again, I operate on vibes in
Yeah.
all parts of my life. But then, of course, when Tilly went crazy, I had a Tilly going crazy playlist. So
Ooh.
we have, but what is a television jargon?
I love it. I love it.
So like it continues throughout the campaign. I don't just like make a playlist and then it lives as like a relic of character creation. I keep adding to them. So right now I only have one for Fish, and it's my hype playlist before every week.
Yeah.
But it's called Good Soup
Good
because one
soup.
of our running jokes with Fish is she loves soup.
Hmm.
And so yeah, and because Fish is just weird. Just deeply. She is the weirdest character I've ever made, probably. We've got the theme from Caddyshack, I'm All Right by Kenny
Ooh.
Loggins. We have I'm Shipping Up to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys. We have lesson number 1 from Mulan 2, and I will not explain that choice.
Yes. Yes. I can't explain it,
Mhm.
but yes.
Yes. We got All Star by Smash Mouth. It is all over the place. But very much like the hype playlist. And as we continue on with the story of our game, I will create some like deep heart playlist moments for her too. But yeah, I get deep into the Spotify playlists, and I literally for weeks while I'm doing character creation, I drive like 45 minutes to work and 45 minutes home. So I have 45 uninterrupted minutes with my Spotify shuffle
Hmm.
and the Spotify DJ.
I love the
And if
Spotify
I hear,
DJ.
love it. So if I hear something, I will add it to my liked songs and then I'll go sort it.
Hmm.
But I am constantly like, I am still putting songs on Tilly's playlist. Am I
Oh.
playing this girl anymore?
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not. Do I occasionally hear songs and I'm like, that is a Tilly song?
Hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, there's a lot of uh, we are getting into fall time, so I'm sure there will be some creepy classical music that'll be making its way onto Sibylla's playlist,
Hmm.
even though
Hmm.
she has not been played yet.
Haunted Halloween
So I
vibes are
really,
coming.
yeah, it's coming.
It's funny because once
I
they're
have
little
been
people in your
promised a
head, you're
birthday.
like, I must
I
put that. I
know they
must put it in their
exist.
playlist. Like they
Mhm.
exist. Yeah, I still have
I
address.
have, I have been promised a birthday one shot that will be creepy in a different way than
You
our current
better
game. So
communicate that to
we'll see what
him.
happens.
So you already have.
I,
So is that what we're doing next
I
week?
mean, we had the discussion. I don't know what he's planning. If we end up
Interesting.
playing a regular session, I will be fine with that too.
Yeah,
Um, I will bully him into then doing a Halloween one shot for
we
us
do need a
because I
Halloween
will
one
tell
shot
him that he made a promise to me, and yeah, I will bully.
for sure.
We all know that Wes is scared of me, so.
Is there anything else you do pre game like art because like we're snack people, so like do you have a snack
Uh-huh.
that you bring to the game that brings you in or
So I am a snack person, but I am also heavily a drinks person. I have to have multiple beverages. So I always have an ice cold Diet Coke because I have an obsession. I also always have a water, and during games, you will see just an arm appear in the camera with Zach handing me my full cup of water. Oh, I have to turn this around so you can see my
oh
lovely
pretty
spooky vibes. But I always have something that has a lid on it.
yes
Yes, because that is number one, a relic of having cats, because my cat Persephone is always knocking shit over. Um, but it's also because I'm very clumsy. So big water with a lid, usually one alcoholic beverage. Mm, living at the one of the things I adore about living with my parents is my mom and I are total wine people. So this week has been champagne.
oh wow
Who knows what it will be next week? Um, and then my Diet Coke. So I have like a caffeine and alcohol water
do with everything besides
always.
the Diet Coke
Hmm. And also, I routinely eat dinner while we're doing like tech checks.
hmm
So we're hopping into the Discord at 4:45 p.m. my time, and I have like a burger
yeah
or salmon or something, and I am just absolutely bodying that. I'm
that's
trying to eat that in
it's
15
so
minutes or
funny because
less.
that's usually how it rolls during tech checks because
Yeah.
everyone has to have their their Discord going by like usually
Hmm.
10 to 15 minutes before. So usually it's us shoveling food inside our mouths because we are
Hmm.
snackers. I am with Brennan of the belief that like the only thing that inhibits me
Gotta
playing
have a little
D&D
snack.
happily is that I have to talk with the
Hmm.
same mouth that I put food in because I love a good
Hmm.
little tray. But Wes is
Yeah.
bodying a buffalo dip pretty
Hmm.
much
Oh,
pre every
every
season.
week.
This
Every week.
week it was
Yeah.
lasagna because I just had
I mean,
lasagna.
You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, I usually eat dinner right before we start, and then I will have my snackage. But I, again, with all things, I am a vibes person. So sometimes Zach will go to the dollar store like the afternoon of D&D on Sunday, and he'll just be like, "What snacks do you want for D&D?" And I will be like, surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I like. So like this week I had a really big bag of Smart Food white cheddar popcorn.
Yum.
It was delightful. Um, sometimes it's pizza Pringles, which are the best Pringles flavor, and I will not take any comment on that. Um, let's see. Oh, I also asked for brownies mid-session this week, and they appeared. Um,
That's the nice thing about
I'm
having a
spoiled.
partner who's not playing with you. My partner at the end of the game is like looking at me going, "So you're gonna handle food, right?" Because we're both starving by the time we finish. Because it's like
Yeah.
usually post gym, post D&D, we've probably eaten before D&D something, but it's not a real meal. So by the time we're
Mm-hmm.
out, it is 8 p.m. and we are starving. And I'm watching you be like served dessert, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's gotta be nice."
Mm-hmm. It is real nice. He sits and he plays his Forza or his Fallout 4.
Mhm.
And he texts me about halfway through the game and he says, "Do you need any snacks?" And this week I said, "I know this is unachievable, but I really want brownies." And he said, "God damn it, now I want brownies." And he went and made brownies.
That's always nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't complain. We were
you know,
talking about this earlier. It's
yeah.
like even if you make them poorly, a bad brownie's better than no brownie.
There's no
So
such thing as a bad. There's no such thing as bad brownie.
exactly.
Yeah. So, and they were delightful. I had one for breakfast today. Because I got to work from home this morning, so
So
I got
jealous.
my breakfast and my Alani. The
On a
only
Monday.
reason that one of my beverages on Sunday nights is not an Alani Witch's Brew is because I would not sleep, but that is also one of my favorite beverages in the universe.
So I was at the
Um,
gym literally on Sunday, and I almost took a picture of it because they were promoting the Alani's Witch's Brew at my gym, and I was like,
amazing.
I had not heard of
Hmm.
that until you said it twice. So
Yes. We found them at the Kroger, which is, I say by my house. It is 30 minutes away from my house because we live in the country. But we went to get groceries and we found them in the grocery store. And I tell you, I ran. I acted a fool in the Kroger. And Zach was like, "Control yourself." "I will get them, but control yourself."
absolutely not.
So we got like three cases of the regular size and two cases of the minis, and we're almost out. And that
Nice.
was like 3 weeks ago. So
That's us and sparkling
this is the
waters.
yeah,
We have,
this is the best time of the year.
I bet, yeah. I mean, coming into fall, coming into your birthday, I mean, we're already talking good vibes. Is
Yeah,
there anything that you because like we're gonna be playing the day of your birthday, the day after your birthday,
the day after.
day
The day
after?
after.
Yeah. Any if we are playing the normal campaign, any things that you expect to happen? Anything that even in just like campaign in general, do you think any like anything you want to put in record right now saying if I'm right
Hmm.
throughout this campaign?
I don't know. I don't know, man.
No weird
Um,
conspiracy theories?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think we can all agree that where Sup is going is Sup's going to become a real boy.
Yeah,
Um,
right? Got a lot of real boy
with real
vibes.
emotions, and I'm so excited about
I
that.
know.
But like, I genuinely have no idea what's going on otherwise.
I mean, how can we?
So
We went from listening to Moth singing "I Am Hungry" into I swear to
Mhm.
God, I think we got eaten during that. And
I have
that's
no idea.
why we
I have
don't
no idea
remember it.
what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy.
no
It's gonna
clue.
totally come back and
None at
bite us
all.
in the butt
Oh,
someday.
for sure. Also, at least you guys like I try to take notes. Every campaign I set out with the best intentions. I make a personalized like campaign notebook in Canva to put into my good notes. I am that bitch.
Hmm.
Do I take notes? There are 3 words in my notes from this week. The fact that you record these is my saving grace.
Yeah.
But do I, generally speaking, know what's going on? Absolutely not. This is the other reason why I play by vibes, because look, I will do my best to remember what's going on. But like when Wes would have me do the recaps last campaign, we were hoping, we were praying to jargon that I remembered what the hell went on a week before or 2 weeks before if we had a week off. Like,
Yeah.
my brain is Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
And I get so wrapped up in what's going on that I just don't. Like, I'm watching you two, you and Gabby are watching each other's faces. I'm watching your faces and reacting to the two of you. It's like a secondary thing.
Yeah.
So I
We're
just, yeah,
heavy emoters. I'm having a
you
feeling
are.
the entire game. I can't help myself. It doesn't help that
Mostly, yeah,
my partner does tailor the shit to scare the living fuck out
to
of me.
freak you out. Yeah.
So of course
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
freaking out. But I'm also
Mhm.
trying to aggressively, because I think I am our note taker, take notes during that situation. But if you look at my campaign notes and what I write during sessions, those are very different categories. Because if you
Yes.
look at it from my campaign notes, they're very organized. They have titles, they might have things. My session notes are the string theory.
Mhm. Yeah. The
Lots of
the red
arrows.
strings on the going different places going like, "Oh, this could be a thing." Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
I don't even have that.
I have to sit there and be like, what the hell is happening? And then it's usually me just
Mhm.
writing why all over my board because I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. No one knows.
No one knows. That's what he
But
loves it.
yeah.
You did you see today in the
Mhm.
group chat? We were like talking theories, and he's just giggling with little glee. He's just like, ha ha
What
ha.
he
They don't
does.
know.
It's what he does. He's like, you could. That could be what's going on."
Yeah, I'm like,
It's like it's like every time we do a stealth check and he goes, "You are exactly as
still,
stealthy as you think you are."
I
That is the
he
worst.
loves that phrasing, and I now know that as long as you really don't bungle it, you're fine. But, like, when you're at,
Mhm.
like, a 13, 14, and he says that, you're like,
Scared.
"What does that mean?" Like, passive perception for a lot of people are at that range, so am I if I'm being as stealthy as
Mhm.
I think I am, I'm thinking I'm being pretty damn stealthy if I'm thinking perception-wise. Bitches, there's a lot of people who probably saw Feta climbing on rooftops last game. So many people saw her. I think she bungled so many
So
stealth
many.
rolls, but she still climbed the freaking
Mhm.
buildings every time. That's your job now,
Every
boo boo.
time. Yeah.
You're the monk now.
Look, there's one thing you will always do is climb a roof.
You know what? Actually, Fenna is a very much a ground person. She likes the ground. She likes mud,
That's
so
true.
she's very planted. Now you get to be the one who uses the scratching
Mhm.
post to get up to the top of the thing.
Yeah.
Also,
Okay, I'm glad it's
scratching
catching
post.
on with you because I am Fish is giving everyone nicknames, and it just so happened that Sups was first because I had a light bulb moment.
Mhm.
And I started calling Sups scratching post, and I hope that catches on.
I do enjoy it. I
I
can't
hope
see
everyone
Fenna
does it.
calling her calling him scratching post,
Hmm.
but I do enjoy that. That's a
Yes.
fishism. I
Fishism.
will. I am
There are
very
many
excited to see
fishisms.
which one Fenna gets because
I'm gonna have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to workshop some options.
yeah, she's been standing there looking at a robot for and a little possum, but eventually she is gonna go around and be like, "Fish is fluffy." So she hasn't had that
Well,
moment yet.
we had our cat bonding moment.
We did, but I did try to poison you, so I felt like you maybe were unsafe with
Yeah.
Fenna. I am sorry, I did not expect her to poison you. I don't know what that's about. I'm thinking that this is a
No.
mechanic of Fenna I'm not
Okay.
aware of.
To clarify, I don't think me getting disadvantage on all rolls after I drank the tea was because of Finna's tea. I think it's because I then immediately took a real big shot from
Oh.
my flask,
Oh,
which has
okay.
straight up grain alcohol in it. So I think he gave me disadvantage because I was drunk.
That makes me feel a little bit better because I was like, I very much leave a lot of my character creation to the TM. I'm like, whatever you want to roll with because I know Wes really well and I know if I put too many facts in his head, he's gonna forget them, and that's just not worth my time or
Yeah.
energy. So I'm like, here's the big sticking point for Fenna. She's got
Mhm.
a raccoon. Raccoon is
Yeah.
taxidermied. She lives on a lake. That's
Mhm.
literally anything else you want to do to her flavor wise. She hears a song. Other than that, you're good to go. And so
Yep.
he definitely takes advantage of the fact that I play this real
Mhm.
crazy character.
Yep. And as I learned last time with Tilly, I can only give Wes so many details about my character at a time. So there are so many things that I know about fish.
Right. You
I
gotta
just
spoon feed
are
him.
gonna be like, yeah, are there gonna be like midnight thoughts that I send to your poor boyfriend?
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, just like, by the way, this is a thing. This is a thing that my cat does.
I do that all the time to him because I'm like, I'm not one of those people
Mm,
who comes with a fully formed like people were asking Fenna, like, who is she? Who's her family and all that. And I'm like, most of that shit was like made up on the fly because like to me that wasn't the important part of her backstory. So whatever I say there
mhm,
can't be wrong. Like I checked with the DM and made sure like the things that I knew needed to be there for his player was still like on board. But
mhm,
I usually leave a lot to him because I know in that moment he's not gonna remember. And so it's better to leave it to
mhm,
him where he thinks the good story is than me being like, well, actually,
mhm. See, this time I gave him like a little manifesto of fish and there were pictures, so it's like broken up. I
yeah,
got inspiration for it, so
yeah,
there's that. But it was, yeah, this time I made him a little like reference manual because I do like the writer in me cannot leave any stone unturned with backstory. So it's like 8 or 10 pages of like, here's the tavern where she lives, and here's the person who owns the tavern and who he is, and here's her best friend who's a half orc who used to be in this gladiatorial arena with her. And like, yeah, that there are so many side characters to Fish's existence. And there's also larceny.
hmm and I think it's good for a
Mhm,
DM to have something to pull at, right? Like you can't be nothing. You
yeah.
can't give your DM nothing. But I do also think that you do have to remember this is called backstory for a reason. That the backstory must
Mhm,
end the moment the campaign starts. So you do have to
yeah.
do a lot of like hand holding with your DM on
Mhm,
bringing the right things forward because ultimately you guys are
yeah.
doing a story
Yeah.
together.
And also like acknowledging that the thing that you thought was the least important is going to be the thing that your DM latches onto. Like
Yeah.
larceny was a funny joke. And that was the first thing that Wes pulled. And he was like, I'm going to have fun with the rat
Yeah.
that lives in your walls. And I was like, the rat is supposed to be in the walls what do you mean you're going to
Right.
have fun? The rat may or may not exist.
But that's what he loves about it is that it may or may
Yeah.
not exist because that gives him so much wiggle room to tell a good story and giving
Hmm.
him that opening of like I'm not sure, I'm going to leave that to you. Like it would be very easy to be like yes, larceny's real and lives in this weird corner and only here, but like you being willing to open that story to be like whatever you want to do with larceny, Fish is ready for is
Hmm.
good storytelling by
Yeah.
you.
You have to open those lines of communication because like I wouldn't have I gave him more stuff about larceny because when he was like, oh, I can have fun with this, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I sure. um that is the entire reason that there's now like the beginnings of a running joke about Fish really liking pickled eel.
hmm
So it was a throwaway comment and it
But
kind of got
Larceny
latched
stole her
onto.
pickled eel
Yeah.
sandwich. So,
Yeah. And that kind of got latched onto, and I was like, okay, let's just run with it. So you hand over your baby and then the baby grows up outside of your custody
yeah.
and you just kind of go with it. And usually when you let that happen, it's going to be better than you could have thought up anyway because you're giving the bones to somebody else. Like that's such a powerful part of storytelling too. Like there's a reason that fan fiction is really popular because sometimes you can take an inspiration and just run a totally different direction with it, and that can create really compelling things.
Yeah.
That's like D&D is just one person playing fan fiction with 3 or 4 different like little pockets of inspiration.
Well, I would go to say it's cooperative storytelling. It's yeah,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
telling a story
for
about
sure.
you, but I'm also telling a story about somebody else, and the DM, knowing everyone's story, is sitting there weaving together the threads that cause a team, and what might not seem important to you that pulls from your backstory might be the very thing he needs to pull you in to
Hmm.
somebody else. And
Yeah.
having a good DM who's able to talk to you through where you want to go, but you also being
Hmm.
willing to listen, is something that
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of people struggle with, but we got very blessed
Oh,
with
for sure.
because we have
Yeah.
Wes, who is very much like a, on one hand, this is his story and he's going to tell it, but on the other hand, is like, I need player investment. So I'm going to work with you to
Hmm.
tell you what I like from this. So that way we can be on the same page of where we're going with the story.
Yeah. And like just being able to big picture it and look at all of these very different little nuggets of information and the beginnings of characters and personalities and go, okay, how can I connect this to this? And how can I make this part of this person's backstory actually like tie into this thing over here? Either something that's happening actively, or how can I make that part of this other person's backstory because it's kind of similar vibes? Like that's a talent. That
Yeah.
is a talent not everybody has.
Especially
I
because
mean, I have,
we don't talk to each other for
yeah,
backstory. So like we have a demon from
yeah,
hell and we have a possum, and somehow those two
hmm,
have to coexist in the same reality.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
so it does
And
take
making
somebody.
that work,
Yeah.
yeah, making that work is crazy. I mean, I have DM'd. I totally like that is a lot of brain power. Like it's a lot. And also, the man says he does not prep that much. Lies.
You really, you know what?
Lies.
Honestly, it's what you think of prep and what he thinks of prep are two different things. If you were to ask him how much time do you spend at your computer doing stuff for D&D, he's going to say very little. And that is true. He's not up here every hour formulating. But he is
Hmm.
also watching stuff in our home, hitting the pause button, and then writing little notes to himself because he had an idea or he saw something cinematically that he knows he wants to play out later. So he's going to write himself some reference. So what
Hmm.
he thinks is work is very little because his brain is constantly going on it. And he's like,
Hmm.
that's not work though.
Or
That's
he's,
just the
yeah,
adventure.
or he's sitting at one of the 7 million instruments in your home going, ooh, I could make a little ditty here. I can make a little music here. And this
Terrifying.
could be really creepy. Yeah, this
Terrifying.
could be really creepy and
I
terrifying.
so our game room oversits our outdoor area where I enjoy sitting when I'm not here in front of my computer, or into our
Mhm.
kitchen, which I usually leave the door open. And do you know how terrifying it is to listen to creepy clown music coming through a piano upstairs? And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear that in my nightmares. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Hmm.
That's what living like with the DM is like. It's
Yeah.
constantly he's constantly chewing on the problem. He just doesn't see it as DM work.
Hmm. Yeah. There's never a moment where it's
It's never
very far
silent.
away from his mind.
No.
I just keep gesturing with my lipstick and it's like just in the bottom of the
It's
screen.
that's me and my
Yeah.
squishy. Well,
Yeah.
we're almost done, but I know there's at least one more question I have to ask you.
Okay.
If there's a new player sitting in front of you right now and you could give them one piece of advice, what's the piece of advice you give to any new player coming into the world?
It's going to be a tried and true piece of advice, but it's definitely one I have given people. Yes, and everything. I I everybody has different reasons why they play D&D. Some people are combat people. Some people are like go, you know, find the treasure, find the loot, go on the adventures people. I am a story person. I want a good, compelling story. And the only way you can do that is if you just go, okay, this might as well happen.
Yep.
Sure. How can I make that interesting? How can I make that work? Um, so like be like we talked about earlier, be willing to make the vulnerable decision, be willing to make a bad decision on purpose.
Yep. Be
Be
willing
willing
to
to
fail
not
the
be the
role.
smartest person in, yeah, be willing to not be the smartest person in the room. sometimes you know that the choice you're about to make is a bad choice, but you know in the moment that your character would not be thinking clearly or would not be able to see the situation the way you are.
Right.
And sometimes you have to go, okay, I gotta do a stupid thing, but it's gonna be more compelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, just say yes and a lot. Always fill your brain with more content, D&D related content. Like we all have our shows that we love to watch. And we all have played a smattering of Baldur's Gate, some of us more than others. I just topped 400 hours. Let's not talk about that. It's,
It's a great game.
um,
It's a great game.
it's a great game, but like that's another way I kind of get in the zone of it.
Yeah.
Is like that's how I teach myself the mechanics. That's how I teach myself how to make better choices and more vulnerable choices, is watching other people do it really well.
That is true.
So yeah, uh, always with anything, learn from the greats,
Is
be
there
willing to
anyone
make
who you
decisions.
would say is your great? Like, is there a group of people that you epitomize for
Okay.
D&D?
Yes. I said it earlier, but Critical Role Liam O'Brien, specifically as an actor, is just so compelling to me. The choices that he makes are so good. He can be really funny, but he can also be really, really heartbreaking. And I love that dichotomy. I love how he can make both of those choices in the space of one character in the space of 10 minutes,
Mhm.
and both of them be equally believable. It's hard to pull that off. Um, but I also think he's a really good DM storyteller too, which it's hard to wear both hats.
Mhm.
It is really hard to do both. So I think that is my person that I go back to and watch clips of when I'm trying to, especially because I played a wizard last campaign, so I was trying to kind of get that wizard vibe.
Mhm.
That was very inspirational to me, and also Laura Bailey, and especially in terms of making the weird choice.
Yes.
Laura Bailey.
Yeah, she
But yeah,
definitely is able to pull out some uncanny things, but also commit to the bit in ways that are fantastic.
absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you always. You're one of my closest friends. I'm so excited that you have signed on for another season of Dungeons and Dragons with me because I just love playing with you and I am excited to see who Fish is because we don't get to
Yeah,
really know yet. So I'm excited to see who she becomes in our friendship. So thank you for
I'm
joining me
figuring
today.
it out too.
I
You're welcome.
and I will see you on Saturday or Sunday. I will see you on Sunday.
Sunday. I'm sure I will also see you on Saturday because that's my birthday,
That
and
is true.
I
I
I
will be
expect the
saying
birthday FaceTimes.
yes. Yes, of course. I will be seeing you on Saturday for that
Yes,
reason. I will be seeing you on
yes,
Sunday for the D&Ds.
for the D&D reasons. Yes.
Love
Okay.
you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.